All right, folks, we are going to do it right. We're going to make a doggy septic tank or a doggy septic system. It'll be just the tank, but the tank is the system. And yeah, it's kind of composty type situation, so it's very easy to do. You can make a doggy septic tank out of just about anything. Today we're going to make one out of a culvert, and then we're going to make one out of a 5-gallon bucket. Let's just do the bucket now. And yeah, so first off, you need whatever you use. You need to make sure you've got a hole on the top and a hole on the bottom. So we're going to cut this bottom out. We're going to drill some holes in the side of it. And yeah, let's get started. We're not going to drill a ton of holes. I'm going to get enough holes where I can get, well, bugs will go in and out and that sort of thing. So we don't have to have a ton. Use what you want to use. Well, hang on. Now, you don't even have to have the holes. This is something you don't have to have. We're doing it just in case it makes it better. And yeah, because you've got the, this is a good drill. Other than this will burn your skin. So you've got the bottom opened up. That's basically all you need. This will help it just a little. I'm sorry, folks, a little sloppy. Yeah, so let's cut this out. Doesn't have to be pretty. We'll make sure we're recording here. Let's swap out batteries. Yeah, folks, this is a good drill. You've got to be careful though, because it'll burn your hand right here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this first. Let's get started here. There we go. Now we can take the battery. All right. Well, let's jump up here and do it. How about that? That'd be easier. Oh. So if you're going to use a 50-gallon drum, if you're going to use a 5-gallon bucket, if you're going to use a household tote, make sure you leave some edge on there. And that's to keep it's still pretty rigid. And yeah, don't worry about it. Stuff will get hung up on there, but that's okay. It don't matter. All right, so that's her right there. Look at that. All right, folks, you were looking at the hole. So this is what I did. I actually used a John Deere and dug a little spot, which you can do that by hand. And then I used the post hole diggers. And yeah. So what I've got here, let's take you off of here. What I've got, we got the sun shining, folks. I am so sorry. But as you can see, We've got somewhat of an edge around here, just sort of. And that way the 5-gallon bucket can rest on that. And we are simply going to place our bucket right in the hole. Like so. Just like that, folks. Now, what I'm going to do is put the lid on it and then somewhat cover it up. I'm going to do it by hand. Not that big of a deal, folks. You might ask why I'm doing it by hand. That is because the shovel is holding the tripod. Hang on. All right, folks, there it is. And once you get it in the hole, get the dirt packed around it, it's ready to use. Listen, before you go covering it up, make sure you put the lid on it, pack the dirt with your feet, and that's it. I mean, you scoop the dog poop up with a shovel. You can pull it up with your foot. Now, if you're smart, you'll make you something that comes up maybe out of a PVC pipe that you can just grab and lift up. You don't even have to bend over. But that's it. You see it. So let me explain it again. We took the bucket, we cut the bottom of it out, we kept the lid, we drilled holes in the side of it, not too far up towards the top. We kept it down about 8 inches, and we didn't put a ton in. You can see how many we put in. It's all the way around like that. Leave a little edge on your bottom of the bucket there. That way it's still good and rigid and you're not collapsing. So you dig this part out with a shovel, or if you're like me, you can do it with a backhoe. I'm lazy. But then you dig from the bottom of the bucket down. You dig with a post hole digger, and that way you've got a ledge there to rest the bucket on. Now you can make that hole as deep as you want it. You can make it 3 feet deep, 6 feet deep. Ooh, that's about 13, 14 inches deep, and that's all we need, folks. That's all we need. So the idea of this is that you scoop up doggy poo with a shovel. That's right, folks, with a shovel. Not with your bare hands. That's nasty. Not with one of those disposable gloves. You don't do it with the napkin or paper towels or toilet paper, and then throw that in here. That's no good. You don't want that. You want only dog poop in here. So you get you a little pooper scooper and dump it in. Just super simple. Super simple. And if you do that, if you just put dog poop in here, the bugs are going to eat this up. This is going to actually break down into some good compost. Now, I've still got the handle on this thing. So if this thing was to ever fill up, started getting nervous, I would simply just pull it up. Dig down, grab the handle, jiggle it around, pull it up, and push dirt in the hole. and just move it, over 2 feet, 3 feet. It's just that simple. Yeah. So that's it. All right, folks, this is the culvert doggy septic system, and it is simply a culvert and a riser lid. This is what we call a riser lid, and I'll get back to that in just a minute. But very simple to make. The hardest thing to do here is to dig. All right, so folks, now if you're smart, just like on the 5-gallon bucket septic system, if you're smart, you'll put you a setup here where you don't have to bend over. You can just grab a handle on a pipe in the middle of this riser lid and pull it up. You never have to bend over. All right, let's take a peek in there. Well, I mean, that's it, folks. Very, very simple. You can make this as deep as you want it, as shallow as you want it. We've got about an 18-inch, 24-inch wide. That's inside dimensions. 24-inch wide, and about 18 inches deep culvert. Now, where we get these, we get them cut right on site, and we use these for risers on the septic tanks. And this is a riser lid. This is a infiltrator septic tank lid, and we use these for risers, and they simply just screw down onto the culvert. It's just that simple. You've got holes and you can screw it down. Of course, for a doggy septic tank, you don't want to screw it down because you want easy access. That's it, folks. So just like the 5-gallon bucket doggy septic tank, it's the same situation, same scenario, same procedure. Now, I probably need to clean some of that loose dirt out, and I will. But that's it. We just simply dug a hole as deep as the riser, the culvert. So we dug a hole 18 inches deep. That's as deep as the culvert. And then we dug a smaller hole, diameter-wise, we dug a smaller hole below that and made it about a foot deeper. Yeah, just so incredibly simple. All right, folks, a overview of both of these systems, the 5-gallon bucket doggy septic tank and the culvert doggy septic tank. And we're going to do an overview. I will be repeating myself, but that's okay. If you're making one of these, you're probably old like me, and that's what we do. We repeat ourselves. All right, so this is a septic tank lid for a plastic septic tank, or it can be used as a riser lid, and they make riser lids and of course septic tank lids. So what we normally do on a septic system, that's what this is for, is we just use the lid that is on the septic tank and stick it on the riser, what we call a riser, and I'll show you that. This is what we call a riser. It is simply a 2-foot culvert, 2 feet. This is the inside diameter is 2 feet, this way or this way. And it is a culvert, a plastic, very strong culvert. And we use these for risers on septic tanks. But this is not a riser. This is a culvert that's been converted into a doggy septic tank. That's what we have here, folks. So, but just kind of explaining to you so you know what to ask for. So you could go to a place that sells these plastic culverts, tell them what you're going to use it for. You can call it a riser. We want a culvert. We're going to use it for a riser. We need a lid, a riser lid to fit it. And That's what you ask for. Now, this isn't very expensive. All of this is $100 or less. So this is 18 inches tall, roughly, and 2 feet by 2 feet. Now, you can make this 6 feet, or you can make it 4 feet or 3 feet, whatever you want. But what you want to do is dig this first hole. So however, let's say your culvert is this size, 18 inches. We dug a 18-inch hole, and we did that with a little backhoe. Of course, you can do it with a shovel or whatever you want to do. Then we stopped. We stuck our riser in there and said, okay, good, this is what we want. And then we proceeded to dig on. But we didn't make it as wide as the riser. That way we have a ledge here that we can set our riser on, or our culvert. I'm calling it a riser, folks. I am so sorry, but that's what we call these. We set our culvert in the hole, and then we dig a hole that's not as wide, it's not as big diameter-wise as the culvert. And so that's what we have. Now, you can dig down there. You see what we've got down there. You can dig that down. I got to clean that dirt out. But you can dig as deep as you want. So you can dig that 4 feet deep down there. And what happens is that doggy do, it just builds up, and all the while bugs are eating it, bacteria and whatever is just slowly turning it into compost. And you can dig it out and use it somewhere in the garden. Folks, you could take this culvert back out and cover the hole up. I mean, more than likely that doggy do is going to break down and you're never going to have to do anything. But let me tell you this. One thing is for sure. You cannot put your disposable plastic gloves in there. You can't be putting your paper towels in there. So pick that poo-poo up with a poo-poo scooper, a shovel, some kind of grabber that'll grab that poop, and then just dump it in. And just like I said before, if you're smart, you won't want to bend over all the time. You'll just simply drill a hole in the center, and put you some sort of handle in here. Use a couple of washers and some bolts, and run you up some PVC, and make it where you can just grab this and lift it up. You don't even have to bend over. I don't mind bending over, so yeah, it stays like it is. That's it. Super simple. This is the culvert. Remember, when you go to look for this, you want to look for a riser, and it's a culvert, a plastic culvert, but yeah, it's the cheapest way to go. So if you get an actual green plastic riser, it's going to be super expensive. So you tell them you want a culvert, you're making a riser, and you want a culvert, and yeah, they'll know what you're talking about. So a lot of these places that sell these culverts know exactly what you're talking about when you say you're going to use it for a riser, and they'll have a lid to fit. Now this lid is less than 36 inches, but this lid fits perfect on that 24-inch culvert. And you just tell them you want a 24-inch culvert or a 36-inch culvert or an 18-inch culvert, and you want it cut at 4 feet, 2 feet, 6 feet, whatever, and you want a lid for it as well, a lid that fits, and they'll take care of all that for you. We use Mining Supply here in Campbell County, Tennessee. So you find a place that sells septic tank material, or you find a septic tank company, or you find a local, not a big box store, but your local hardware store, and they more than likely know what you're talking about. And so you'll have less than $100 in that setup right there. Now this, of course, you've seen this. Dig a hole with your shovel, then dig a hole with your shovel. Get the height that you want your bucket. So you get the depth of that hole, the height of the bucket, so that it's flush with the ground, or pretty close. Drill your holes in it, cut your bottom out, and take your post hole diggers before you stick your bucket in and dig out. Dig, dig, dig. Make sure you leave a ledge for your bucket to rest on, and dig that hole down there, that post hole down there. Dig that as deep as you want it. Doesn't matter how deep it is. It could be 20 feet deep. It's just so simple, these things. Anyway, folks, that's it. Doggy septic tank. We'll see you.